We have a dead ball, offsides on the defense. We have a dead ball, personal foul on the defense. Both of them now will be enforced. It'll be 1st and 10.
Well, Brody Benson, a very unhappy head coach, yelling towards the official, and then you heard the volume of Mr. Christensen raise a little bit, announcing the call. So you've got the 2 penalties. That's 20 yards and walk-off, and that'll be a 1st down for the Mustangs all the way out to the 37-yard line.
I don't know how you have the energy to commit all these personal fouls. Try to just stay warm in these conditions.
High formation, Ferguson the fullback, Hall the deep-back. Hall will take the pitch around the left side. Ferguson with the block. Hall unable to turn the corner, though, and driven down near the sideline after about maybe no more than a 1-yard pickup, as once again Thomas Pembroke leads the way from his free safety position.
And you can see what Mountain Crest is trying to do offensively. Get the ball into Eddie Hall's hands. Get the lateral game, the outside game going. Give him a one-cut opportunity. That's one cut. Put your cleats into the ground and get upfield. Go north to south.
2nd down and long for the Mustangs. Clock winding down as we near 100 seconds left to play here in the 1st half. This time Hall gets the handoff, tries the left side, nothing there. Maybe squeezed a half yard out of it, no more. Good pursuit that time on the part of the defense, led by Tennyson George, the cornerback. And also in on the stop was Ephraim Schulte, the defensive end.
Yeah, about the only thing you can do as an offense coordinator in these conditions is solidify that ground, the running game with Eddie Hall.
The Mustangs are going to take their first of their 3 allotted timeouts. 91 seconds to go. Key 3rd down play. They certainly have the time to try to get things going and maybe reestablish a little bit of a longer lead right now, up 14-6. This portion of the game presented by Huntington Learning Center. If you're looking to raise your ACT score, call 1-800-CAN-LEARN. The average student at Huntington Learning Center raises their score by 5 to 7 points. Mention KJZZ when you call and get $100 off their premium ACT program.
Yeah, so Steve, your hands are tied as an offense coordinator in these conditions. Right now, Mountain Crest is doing a good job solidifying the ground game. You got to solidify both the downhill run game and the lateral run game. And Eddie Hall has been able to pick up some yards laterally. The downhill run game isn't as developed. As you pick up those yards laterally, then you create some opportunity to do a bootleg.
Webb throws it back for Ferguson as they try to set up the screen, but it was well defended and the pass was incomplete. So it'll be a 4th down situation now for Mountain Crest, and they may be punting the ball away for, I believe, the 1st time today.
And like we've said all game, special teams has been kind of the playmakers for both sides of for both teams in this football game.
Pututau does everything else. Punch for Mountain Crest. He will take it away. Low snap. He just has to kick it off this, and he boots it off the side of his foot. He had to just get rid of it as quickly as he could, and that turns out to be about a 7-yard net punt for the line of scrimmage. And now, Steve, Highland, no timeouts remaining, but they have 1 minute and 20 seconds to maybe get the equalizer. By the way, don't forget at the conclusion of today's game, we'll be selecting the Tosh player of the game. And that's certainly up for grabs at this point.
You know, now the strategy of this football game is controlling the clock, getting good field position for your offense, and taking care of the football. Those 3 things will give you an opportunity to win this football game. It's not a matter of getting the big plays. It's a matter of controlling the football.
This time it's Sakona, the fullback, and he is driven backwards once he got to the line of scrimmage. Tenson Weston, the middle linebacker, was the first one there. And they're going to give him forward progress for about a 1-yard pickup as the clock winds down to 1 minute remaining here in the 1st half. Again, the Rams can't stop the clock except on 1st downs and incomplete passes and getting out of bounds. Peterson back, throws right, pass is complete, hanging on to it After the tough hit was Malcolm Carr-Turner, and then kickoff return for a touchdown. Pickup of about 7 yards on the play.
That time, great throw by Austin Peterson, taking that 3-step drop, looking out to his receiver, and delivering the ball. Giving yourself a third and manageable situation here with less than 30 seconds to play in this football game.
Peterson, the late pitch around the left side. Pembroke with the carry, and he is going to be close to the first down. I believe he has it. The clock will stop for the moment with 18 seconds to go. Highland trying to pick up a late score here, trailing by 8 here in the first half. See if they run a play here, Steve, or if they're going to have Peterson spike it. They better hurry one way or the other.
Wasting some time here now, under 15 seconds to go.
Run a play, Peterson back, heaves it down the left side for Padilla. Incomplete, he had it and lost it. Looked like maybe he was stripped away by Caden Lindley. Just a reminder, coming up at the half, stay tuned for the IM Flash Technologies halftime show. We'll preview some of the games we'll have coming up. Plus, Steve and I will be back with highlights and analysis in the first 2 quarters. It's all right here at the half, but Steve, a great play by Lindley, knocking it away at the last moment. It looked like Padilla was going to make that catch.
Yeah, that was a big play by Lindley, and then but you're faced with the situation if he catches that football, Highland doesn't have enough time on the clock. It goes to halftime. Now it's 4 seconds left in this game. Ball about 35-yard line, giving Highland one more opportunity to get in the end zone.
Peterson rolling. He's going to have to run it. And he is going to get knocked out of bounds as the clock shows 0. And the first half on a snowy November day is in the book. We've had turnovers galore. We've also had some big plays. We've got Malcolm Carr-Turner kickoff return for a touchdown that got Highland on the board. Mountain Crest has been able to take advantage of a couple of the Highland turnovers and take the lead into the halftime locker room. Mountain Crest 14, Highland 6 on our Tosh Game of the Week.
Clark Salt Lake Express and the airport shuttle have merged and become one.
So we still have doorstep service, and it's about the same price as it was before. Our focus now is to try to provide as many opportunities for people who need to have the ability to get to and from Salt Lake when they want. They don't want to wait at the airport for 2 hours. They also don't want to be driving around the valley when they get here.
And you bring us to a location that leaves on time.
We'll have another vehicle take you here to save time comfortably, and that main vehicle goes 12 times a day on schedule, both leaving the valley and coming back.
Halftime here at Rice-Eccles Stadium. Mountain Crest leading Highland by a score of 14-6. Today's halftime highlights are brought to you by University Credit Union, your best choice for home team service. Low rates and longer terms for auto, home, business, and student loans. Visit ucreditu.com today. And Steve, it started with the touchdown run by Nick Taylor.
Yep, Nick Taylor takes the dive, goes up the middle, 2-yard touchdown run. This time Eddie Hall finds Laulu Potutau in the end zone on the 2-point conversion. And Eddie Hall follows it up with the 5-yard touchdown run up the middle, making it 14-0. And here you see Malcolm Carr-Turner taking the kickoff return, finding the left sideline and making it a nice touchdown return and getting Highland Rams back in this football game, making it a 14-6 football.
They officially announced that as a 95-yard kickoff return, and so some hearty souls here at Rice-Eccles Stadium getting set for the second half of our Tosh Game of the Week.
Visionary Homes.
The Tosh High School Game of the Week on KJZZ TV is brought to you by Tosh, the Orthopedic Specialty Hospital. The Larry H. Miller Dealerships, driven by you. Science Bank, we haven't forgotten who keeps us in business. And by I Am Flash Technologies, making the memory that makes the world mobile.
The snow continues to fall here at Rice-Eccles Stadium, making for a treacherous game condition for the Highland Rams and the Mount Crest Mustangs, as the Mustangs had the advantage here at the intermission by a score of 14-6. And again, the total yards being held down. Mountain Crest 142 to 72 for Highland, and Steve, Highland not used to being held that low, but again, they've had trouble staying with the football. They've turned it over 5 times.
Well, this Mountain Crest football team defensively has been stout all season long. As we mentioned previously, the last 7 games they've only given up an average of 6 points a game. And when you're a Highland offense and you have 4 turnovers, 3 of them go to Mountain Crest, it's making yourself a lot more difficult, especially in these conditions. You've got to be able to take control of this football and create some opportunities for your offense.
Highland 5 overall turnovers in the game. Mountain Crest with a pair on a couple of interceptions. Again, Highland, though, within shooting distance of the Mustangs because of the 95-yard kickoff return by Malcolm Card-Turner late in the second quarter. Penalties, Steve, also have been a big story in this game.
Yeah, Highland has 7 penalties for 58 yards. Both teams it's kind of unexpected in conditions like this, but it's getting a little chippy out there. You see some personal fouls, some late hits on the quarterback, but you're right, Malcolm Card-Turner, great job on that kickoff return for a touchdown. 95 yards to give his team a chance, making it a 14-6 football game.
All right, let's get a Tosh sideline update. Here's Tony Parks.
Well, talking about coaches, of course, on Mountain Crest side, the coach Wooten, very disappointed to see them give up the special teams touchdown the way they did, and wants to see more consistency on offense, but loves what he got from his defense in the first half. When I spoke to Brody Benson, he just said very few easy things. Stop fumbling the football. The other thing he told his guys too, they're losing the battle up front. That can't happen. He wants to see it much different in the second half.
And the second half kickoff underway. Chris Barr punching it short, and it goes out of bounds. And there was a penalty marker on the play anyway. That was our Step Up Utah kickoff. Make sure you're doing everything to get ready for college.
5 yards and re-kick.
For tools, tips, and a grade-by-grade checklist, go to stepuputah.com. So they tried a little pooch tick to try to get the football back, but it went out of bounds, and as it turns out, the Mustangs were offside, so they'll have to re-kick, and there goes, Steve, the element of surprise.
Yeah, you're right, but I like the strategy from the Mountain Crest coaching staff. With conditions like this, why not try to sneak one in there and get an onside kick, give your offense an opportunity to go up 21-6 in this football game. But unfortunately, we weren't able to execute that, and they end up going off sides on the kickoff.
Gary Padilla, Malcolm Card-Turner back deep, and they will kick it deep. It'll be Card-Turner on the return. He already took one back for a touchdown, trying to turn the corner and can't, as he gets wrapped up and dropped on the play, as Talon Niederhauser was there for the Mustangs. The Rams will start 1st and 10 from their own 33-yard line.
You know, one thing moving forward, obviously we understand that both teams have got to solidify their ground game. They're not going to be getting much passing yards, and we've seen that in the first half, but in the second half, it's a matter of giving it to your guys in the backfield and letting them have one cut, getting their cleats into the ground and making one cut and getting north to south.
Weber in motion, and the pitch is beyond him. Ball is loose. Weber gets shoved up the ball. It's still free, and now fallen on by a Mustang. Turnover number 6 on the Rams, as Niederhauser was there to cover up for Mountain Crest.
Yeah, Austin Peterson that time. Not used to being in this situation, trying to do a little too much. We saw that in the first half. Starts the second half throwing a pitch and not being able to connect. Mountain Crest doing a great job of taking advantage of these turnovers, and that makes 5 turnovers now. 5 fumbles for this Highland Rams offense.
Well, the Mustangs and Jamison Webb out there. Josh Blatt in motion for Mountain Crest. And it's going to be, that's Hall out of the Wildcat. Eddie Hall getting to the 25, still finding his way forward, still on his feet. Finally dropped at about the 23-yard line. He had to do quite a lot just to get back close to the line of scrimmage there.
I think that's a great strategy by Mark Wooten, the head coach of Mountain Crest. In a situation like this, obviously given the conditions, give it to your best playmaker, whether it's Wildcat formation. You know, the reason why I think the Wildcat's going to be effective is because you're limiting the exchanges that take place. Give it to the guy in the backfield, make him pick up the yards by himself. It's less risk when you give it to one guy rather than have an exchange between him and the quarterback and the ball carrier.
On second down, Hall dancing around trying to find a hole but can't. Brian Monet was there to wrap him up and stop him after about a 1-yard pickup.
And now you're setting yourself up for a 3rd and long situation. Got to try to get that 3rd and manageable. At least get it to that 3rd and 6 point. Now it's 3rd and 9. Making yourself once again predictable. We saw that in the first half, Steve. Safeties for Highland were able to take advantage. Coming with a big interception in a situation like this when you make it 3rd and long.
Jamison Webb, the quarterback, back into the lineup in the empty backfield on 3rd and 9. Webb looking left, throws left over the head of Pututau, incomplete. So now it'll be 4th down, but with the conditions the way they are, even though they have an excellent kicker in Weston Casey, look for the Mustangs to try for it here on 4th down.
Yeah, moving forward, this is going to be 4-down territory, regardless of if you're inside the 40-yard line. I'd imagine both teams will have the strategy of going for it, making it 4-down territory.
Mountain Crest 0 for 1 in 4th down situations today. Spread it out, 3 receivers right, 1 Alex Huerta by himself to the left. Jamison Webb takes the snap, looking, now under pressure, and down he goes. The ball came free. It was going to be a Highland ball anyway. Adam Weber coming off the edge, able to get the sack, his 2nd, jarring the ball free. And so the turnover will give it back to Highland as once again the Rams, for the, I believe the 3rd time in this game, maybe the 4th time, they've been able to stop the Mustangs off an offensive turnover.
Yeah, big stop by that Highland Rams defense, getting the ball. Once again now, you've got to calm Austin Peterson down a little bit. Give him the opportunity to ground and pound. Move this offense effectively like he's done all season long. You're not going to get big gains like you had in past, but it's a matter of just chipping away, controlling the ball.
Weber in motion. The give is to Vainuku. No, he was kept by Peterson. Now he has the ball charged free, and the ball goes out of bounds. Highland will retain possession. It looked like for the Mustangs, Gage Ferguson had jarred the ball free from Peterson, but fortunately for Highland, the ball went out of bounds, and it ends up being a 1st down for the Rams.
You're right, great play there defensively. Mountain Crest chasing Austin Peterson from the backside and creating a fumble. Not being able to come away with the ball ends up going out of bounds, but great job, great hustle from the backside.
Doing all they can to try to keep the ball as dry as possible for these players to handle, but it doesn't take very long to get wet and slick out there. Vainuku on the carry, pounds his way forward and picks up 5 for the Rams out to the 45-yard line.
And this is what Highland has to do. Go back to the simple quarterback-fullback run game. Give your fullback an opportunity to get the ball upfield, get north to south, turn his shoulders, and get between the tackles. That time doing a great job, picking up 5 yards. Chip away, that's all you can do. You're not going to get the big plays. Just keep the ball in your possession, pick up chunks of yards as they come.
Into the fullback once again, Vainuku. Vainuku maybe a yard before being shoved back by a wave of orange and black. One of the Mustangs came away with the football, but play had already been whistled dead. Forward progress. Stopped at about the 46-yard line. That'll be a 3rd down for Highland. And this is a Rams team, Steve, that was 3-3 to start the year. But went on to go 8-4, but the Mustangs, too, they dropped 2 of their first 3 games before reeling off a winning streak of 8 straight.
Yeah, it took a while for both these teams to get going. But Highland, we've seen that in years past as well. They peak at the right time. Just going into the playoffs, they will get some momentum heading into the playoffs and carry it throughout the playoffs and give themselves an opportunity now playing in the semifinals.
Nuku on the carry, and he's going to get into Mountain Crest territory across midfield, and good for the first down. Hey, you can follow KJZZ on Facebook and Twitter now. Just check it out at the handle, KJZZ14. And if you want to start the Twitter discussion on this game, just hashtag your tweets with a HSGW.
There's a penalty on the play.
Unsportsmanlike conduct on the defense. 15 yards from the
Mountain Crest whistled. So we've seen both teams get penalized 15 yards for some extracurricular activity, and now the ball all the way down to the Mountain Crest 34-yard line.
Now that Highland's starting to establish that downhill run game with the fullback, this will open up the lateral game. Watch for them to come back to that Pembroke on the end around. One of these plays, I think it's setting up perfect for that opportunity.
Peterson on the keeper. He's going to try to turn the corner, but gets strung out and dropped. A short gain down to the 30-yard line. As defensively, it was Zach Kimball, the free safety, who was able to run him down.
Yeah, that does not look fun.
How many snow games did you play between your high school and collegiate career?
Too many. I tell you, too many. And you know, as a quarterback, that's the worst. As a defender, it's one thing. When you're playing quarterback, that ball, when you get the exchange from your center, you feel like you're just getting a rock. That leather becomes so hard and your hands are so cold. Not a fun situation for a quarterback.
Again, Peterson struggling on the exchange, this time able to hang on to it, gets shoved back for a loss of a yard, back to the 31-yard line, leaving up a third and long now for the Rams.
This is one of those times where a wishbone attack like this kind of limits you. Here you see once again Austin Peterson not being able to get that exchange from his center, like we talked about. When you're taking that center exchange as a quarterback, when that snap comes to you, you feel like a rock is coming up because that leather begins hard and your hands are so cold you're not able to wear gloves because you still got to get a feel for the ball in case you throw it, making it very difficult.
And Taylor with the stop on that play, so third and long. Peterson runs into his own man in the backfield and then gets dropped. That's going to be another 1-yard loss, setting up a fourth down and 8 as Alex Huerta was among those in on the stop for Mountain Crest. The advocates at Driggs, Bills & Day, the injury law firm, will be on your field helping you dash for Cafe Rio Cash. It's a great way to pledge, not to text and drive.
And like I was saying, Steve, it limits you a little bit when you're running this wishbone because you don't have the luxury of going in shotgun as a quarterback, and that will make it a little bit easier for you to get that exchange, but they don't have that, right? They have to take that under center approach, and at this point, Austin Peterson struggled all game long to get that snap from the center.
And he's been replaced at quarterback by Jamal Greer, who's going to throw deep down the right side, incomplete. They're going to call pass interference on the play, and on that particular occasion for Mountain Crest, it was Ulu Hututa who wouldn't let the receiver get free.
Jamal Greer throwing it up, giving his receiver an opportunity to make a play. That time, coming up with a big pass interference call. Hey, that's not a bad strategy, Steve, at this point.
2 15-yard walk-offs against the Mustangs on this possession, keeping the drive alive for Highland. Will move the football all the way down to about the 16-yard line.
Credit the coaching staff for Highland. Austin Peterson has struggled getting the snap, and he's been their playmaker up to this point and got him to this point, but hasn't been able to get that ball from the center. Now they replaced him with Jamal Greer here.
Weber in motion, Greer with the handoff to Vainuku, and he goes nowhere. Fortunate to get back to the line of scrimmage. Gage Ferguson leading the charge for the Mustangs on defense. Second down and 10 now for the Rams. As Austin Peterson comes back into the Rams lineup. And Greer goes back to the sidelines.
Maybe giving Austin Peterson a chance for his hands to get warmed up. Now he's back on the field under center here.
Malcolm Carr-Turner is wide to the right. 2 receivers split to the left. Back to throw is Peterson. Pump fakes now fired, looking for Carr-Turner in the end zone, and it's incomplete. As That time, the strong safety, Laulu Pututau, was there with guard Turner, step for step.
That's a great play by Laulu Pututau. He's done a good job all game long. We saw that one where he undercut the post pattern, came up with a big interception. This time here in great position. What I like about this, Steve, he looks back and is looking back for the football. You don't see that necessarily at the high school level, nor in the college level. Oftentimes that corner gets intimidated and a little scared to look back for the football, but Laulu Pututau did a great job of earning the right to look back for that football, being in a good position.
3rd and 10, Peterson rolling, dumping it towards the end zone, incomplete. That landed in between a pair of Highland receivers. Adam Weber was out there on the play, and so was Sidney Oti.
Well, and Steve, this is where the play calling now as an offensive coordinator has changed. No longer are you managing a game based on 3 downs and then 4th down, turning it over to your special teams unit. You've got to approach this when you're inside the 30-yard line. You've got to approach this like a 4-down territory. So when you get to that 3rd down, you don't need to go for the sticks. You need to pick up, 5, 6 yards and give yourself that manageable 4th down situation because it's 4th down territory.
4th and 10 from the 16. Peterson back, throws the slant. Jerry Padilla with the catch inside the 5 and the 4. First down and goal for the Rams.
Great catch by Jerry Padilla, getting inside that corner on that slant route. Incredible. Austin Peterson taking that 3-step drop, delivering the ball like he needed to, getting to the sticks. Seeing that his receiver had the inside route, delivering a strike, picking up a big first down, and now you're setting up a situation. 5 yards to go inside, 5 yards to go from the goal. Great job here. As you can see him finding Padilla on the slant pattern. Corner was playing him outside in. Able to connect there, big first down.
First and goal from the 4 to give is to Vainuku, and Vainuku is dropped maybe at the line of scrimmage. Stetson Weston, the middle linebacker, knifing through to make the stop. It'll be 2nd down and goal.
Vainuku's done a good job all game long, taking that ball, getting what the defense gives him, going between the tackles and not trying to do too much. This, Steve, will open up the run game for the quarterback. If he continues to give the ball to Vainuku, those tackles will eventually crash down on him and give the opportunity for Peterson to take it and run with it.
2nd down, the give is to Weber on the end of the lane, tries to find the play.
This is the play I was referencing earlier. You saw to begin the game, they ran that play with Pembroke on the end around. This time, Weber takes the handoff on the end around, finds the end zone from 5 yards deep. Great play there.
Well, apparently that touchdown has been waved off. A holding call against the Rams.
Wow, costly penalty.
Tough to see the flags here at Rice Eccles Stadium right now. Didn't see that one. So instead of a 14-12 and a 2-point conversion coming up, now it's a 2nd down and goal all the way back at the 17-yard line.
And once again, when you're in these situations, you're making yourself predictable. Defenses can sit back there because they know you're going to have to pass eventually.
They're going to take a timeout on the Highland side as they want to get things straight for this play. Don't need to get it all at once, but they need to gain some ground. They trail by 8, 2nd down and goal. Here on the Tosh Game of the Week.
Hi, I'm Wendy. Yep, that one. And I'm proud to introduce Dave's Hot and Juicy Cheeseburgers. They're all new and our best yet, with thicker, hotter, juicier beef, melty cheese, and a warm butter toasted bun. So come on in.
You know when it's real.
Second down and goal now for the Rams, trailing by 8 from the 16-yard line. Pembroke in motion. Peterson will pitch it to him. Pembroke Can't turn the corner, though. He gets strung out on the play by Zach Kimball, and then Troy Metzley comes in to finish him off. So what could have been potentially a touchdown run winds up being just a 2-yard gain.
That time was a double option look. Austin Peterson getting the snap, reversing field to his left. Pitching out to Pembroke. Pembroke picking up 2 yards on the play. And keep in mind now, you're in 3rd and long situation. This is still 4-down territory, so you don't need to go for the home run right here necessarily, knowing you're not bringing in your field goal unit. Pick up what the defense gives you and give yourself an opportunity on 4th down to get it in the end zone.
Never in motion for the Rams. Peterson, short drop, tries the slant, incomplete, intended for Jerry Padilla, who's looking for an interference call, but none forthcoming. And so now it'll be a 4th and goal from the Rams, or for the Rams rather, from the 14-yard line.
The weather conditions have slowed down a little bit.
This part of the game brought to you by your local Ford stores. Ford, go further. Great job by the Browns crew here at Rice Eccles Stadium, keeping those yard lines as clear as possible when the storm was at its worst earlier this morning. Now on 4th down, Peterson back. Lobs it left side, looking for Carr. Turner, incomplete. Once again, it was Raulu Pututau with him step for step, and so Mountain Crest was able to get the ball back on downs.
Once again, great play by Raulu Pututau, doing a great job defensively for this Mountain Crest football team. Having some pass breakups, some interceptions. Obviously on the offensive side of the ball, he's been the favorite target from a receiver standpoint. Got a big 2-point conversion. Raulu Pututau playing a great game today as a senior. Guy who has a lot of experience in the playoffs. Was part of that team 2 years ago when Highland beat them in the finals.
Now, out of the Wildcat, Eddie Hall takes the snap around the left side out to the 20-25-yard line before being dragged down by Adam Weber after the game. Again, Steve, we should remind everybody that Highland looked like they were in position to tie the game, but had a touchdown run called back on a holding penalty as the penalties continue to pile up on these two teams, particularly Highland.
Well, you know, it's the penalties, Steve, when you look at these games, you understand the offsides penalties and perhaps the holding penalties, but the penalties these guys are getting, ill-advised, undisciplined, personal foul penalties, has cost this the Highland football team.
2nd down and 4, and movement on the left side of the offensive line. The left tackle, Kyle Christiansen, moving early, and so that'll move the Mustangs back 5 yards.
When we've seen 5 yards is so hard to pick up in this football game. This is not a game of offense. So when you're costing yourself 5 yards or 10 yards or 15 yards, you're doing yourself a disfavor.
The Highland fans cheering on their team and probably just doing a lot of movement just to stay warm. So 2nd down and 9. Once again, it's Eddie Hall rolling. He's going to throw and completes it. Out near the sideline to Josh Blatt, and that's going to be good for a Mountain Crest first down. But Steve, that's not the first time Hall has done that. He has 1 other completion this year in 3 tries, and that was a 28-yard touchdown pass.
Yeah, Eddie Hall proved he can throw the football that time, doing a great job of getting outside the tackles and throwing the football on the run.
Of course, Hall was the quarterback for the Mustangs last year, changed to the running back position, where again he's rushed for nearly 1,400 yards entering today's game.
Yeah, what a luxury to have a guy who's played the quarterback position. You can, exchange him in and out at the running back and quarterback position. The ultimate Swiss Army knife on the football.
Taking the snap off the left side, has some room out near the 40-yard line before being dragged out. A pickup of nearly 15 yards for Eddie Hall as the Mountain Crest offense has moved the football out from the shadows of their own end zone.
Once again, Eddie Hall taking the direct snap here. Taking the ball, going to his left, cutting back to his right, finding some big chunky yards to pick up. I like what this offense is doing. I like what the coaching staff from Mountain Crest has decided to do and get the ball to Eddie Hall, a guy who's been their primary playmaker all year long, and giving him the opportunity to pick up those yards.
All out across the 45 to the 48-yard line, a pickup of nearly 7 yards for Eddie Hall. Well, you talked about it earlier with the weather the way it is, that you're going to have to make adjustments, and this has turned out to be, so far anyway, a pretty big adjustment on the part of the Mustangs, putting Eddie Hall in this position.
Well, when you're able to run the ball in shotgun, especially in these wet conditions, the offensive line is be able to pick up some ground and gain some momentum with their feet. When you're taking the ball under center, you don't have a lot of yards to be able to get some leverage on those blocks, but under shotgun formation, Mountain Crest has been able to do that, and the offensive linemen be able to get their feet in the ground and get to the next level.
Ball takes it 8 yards to the left side for a first down into Highland territory, down to the 44-yard line as we're under 1 minute to play here in the third quarter.
You know, one thing from a defensive standpoint, what I'd like to see Highland do is now that you've made a team one-dimensional, and obviously both these teams are one-dimensional now with these field conditions. But I'd blitz a lot. I'd bring an extra safety down in the box. They're not going to be throwing the football over the top. I'd bring an extra safety down to blitz.
On first down, Hall with a lead block from Taylor, and he's out across the 40, down near the 35-yard line, and very close to another Mountain Crest first down.
Yeah, Hall's starting to pick it up a little bit.
Fullback Taylor out in front of him. He had a big block sealing off that outside, and so that's going to be very close to the first down. Say just short by about a half a yard.
Well, there's not a lot of creativity, nor does there need to be in situations like this. Get the ball to your playmaker, have him control the ball, and pick up the yards that the defense gives him.
Second down at inches. Hall looks for a hole, kicks it out to the outside. He's wrestled out of bounds at the 25-yard line. Thomas Pembroke in on the stop, but another close to 10-yard pickup and a first down. We had the snow in the first half, but now the fog is starting to roll. Quite reminiscent of the 1987 Bears-Eagles Fog Bowl.
That's right.
At Soldier Field, but we may be getting close. And again, a great run that time by Eddie Hall. That's the kind of play that could make him a prime candidate for today's Tosh Player of the Game. From just inside the 25-yard line, Hall again tucks it under, stood up at the line of scrimmage and shoved back. Ryan Monet once again leading the way defensively for the Rams defensive line, so no gain on the play. It'll be second down and 10 as the third quarter winds down to an end here at Rice-Eccles Stadium. And so both teams back and forth here. Highland with a great opportunity, potentially the tying touchdown earlier, but could not convert. So after 3, it's the Mustangs by 8.
Built for living, visionary homes.
How do you, old grist mill? Old Grist Mill Bread Company, Ogden, Brigham, Logan.
Welcome back to the Tosh game of the week as we enter the fourth quarter of our semifinal. Mountain Crest leading 14-6, and on the march at the 25-yard line. It'll be second down and 10 for the Mustangs. And for the better part here of the third quarter, Eddie Hall has taken over the running back as quarterback here. Running the Wildcat out of the shotgun. Hall takes it. Tries to take it to the outside. Can't turn the corner and gets driven out of bounds at the 21-yard line. So a 4-yard pickup. Malcolm Card-Turner forcing him out with 4 yards on that carry, Steve. Eddie Hall now has pulled to within 4 yards of the 100-yard mark. He's at 96 yards on 21 carries.
Well, he seems to find a little bit of a hole on the left side of that defense for Highland. Not being able to keep containment. So important as a defense, especially the defensive end. or a linebacker, depending what defensive coverage you're running. Got to keep containment. And Eddie Hall's been able to pick a chunk of yards to his left side.
Have to pick up a chunk of at least 6 yards on this play on 3rd down. Nick Taylor, the running back, alongside Hall. And we've got movement. Or delay of game. That'll make it 3rd down and 11 now for the Mustangs. Once again, the fog starting to roll in between the snow and the wind, or the fog and all that. Great effort today by our technical crew here at right sector of the stadium in these awful elements.
I guess as to be expected here, sitting in November semifinals game.
Couldn't have more days like yesterday.
5A got spoiled.
All on 3rd and long. Steps up, escapes one man, gets off another hit, but then gets drilled down to the turf. And a loss of about 2 yards on the play as Eddie Hall gets drilled on that one. Once again, Brian Monet among those in on the stop. And so now it'll be a 4th and 13. Again, a situation where it's too long to punt. You're not going to kick a field goal, so the Mustangs are just going to run a play from scrimmage.
Yeah, this is one of those opportunities. Mountain Crest has the ball inside their 30-yard line, 4th down territory. This is one of those opportunities for Mountain Crest to go for, take a shot. You know, if they intercept it, then it's almost essentially a punt, and give yourself an opportunity to come with a big play.
And with that in mind, the starting quarterback, Jamison Webb, back in the shotgun. Hall goes into motion. Webb steps up, fires deep down the right side. He's got a man open. Got it drilled out of his hand. Great defensive play. Can't quite tell who it was that jarred the ball free. David Coker, the strong safety, with the bone-jarring hit that separated the football away from Josh Blatt.
As a former safety, that one makes me smile a little bit. Jamison Webb throws a nice ball there, but Coker is able to come up with a big play, putting his helmet right between the numbers, hitting the ball.
That would be a grade A hit, but Steve will give it a grade B because he's wearing long sleeves.
That's right. That's right. Tony knows what we're talking about, that safety pride element. You can never show your weakness.
Now Highland takes over on downs from their 28-yard line as Peterson mishandles the snap and has to fall on top of it inside the 25-yard line.
Yeah, this is something that Austin Peterson's been dealing with all game long. In fact, Jamal Greer came in for a few series to replace Austin. Austin's just not able to get that snap from center. You wonder at this point if there's an ability to get some gloves on him. You might as well. He's not going to be throwing the ball. He's essentially another running back. Get some gloves on him and get that feeling back in his fingers.
This portion of the game presented by Huntington Learning Center. If you're looking to raise your ACT score, call 1-800-CAN-LEARN. The average student at Huntington Learning Center raises their score by 5 to 7 points. As they give to the fullback by Luca, and he doesn't go very far. Mention KJZZ when you call and get $100 off their premium ACT program.
Well, Steve, now we're sitting in that situation where with this option attack of Highland, a little under 10 minutes to go, you're down 14-6. You've got to be able to sustain a drive right here.
3rd down and 11. Peterson has it, rolls to his right, throws towards the right sideline, incomplete. Pass intended for Jerry Padilla here on the near side. So now it'll be a 4th down situation for just the 2nd time today. The Rams are going to have to punt the ball away as Alex Alba checks into the ball game.
Yeah, Highland definitely needed that one. You want to keep the sticks alive, give yourself an opportunity to sustain a drive, maintain possession of the football. But instead turns the ball over on turns the ball over on a punting situation here.
Juggles the snap, gets the kick away, a wobbly one. They're going to let it bounce near midfield. And the ball comes to a stop at the 48-yard line. So the Mustangs will start from their own 48 here on the Tosh Game of the Week. So 9:22 remaining. The Highland Rams anxious to get the football back. And now the Mustangs of Mountain Crest will try to chew up some clock and get some points. 14-6 Mustangs. Neither team has scored so far here in the second half. And once again, it's Eddie Hall out of the Wildcat. And he gets run down from behind. Ryan Monet slowing him down, waiting for the help to come. So it'll be a short game, maybe about 2 yards on the play, possibly 3 for Eddie Hall. Gary Padilla also involved in that tackle for the Highland Rams. Again, we've had 9 turnovers in this game. 6 committed by Highland, 3 by Mountain Crest. In less than ideal conditions here at Rice-Eccles Stadium after a gorgeous day here yesterday. I'd say the 5A kids caught a break. Whistles blow, the play clock shows 0. We have another delay of game here against Mountain Crest. And again, Hall played quarterback last year, but it's been a while, and he's probably not in tune yet to keep an eye on that play clock.
Yeah, you're right. If you're not familiar with looking up that play clock and understanding where you are, it's obviously something you got to get familiar with. And Eddie Hall now becoming essentially the quarterback for this Mountain Crest football team with these conditions. Got to learn to look at that clock. Now you cost yourself, your team, 5 yards, making a second long situation.
138 yards in penalties doled out so far in this game. Now the quarterback, Jamison Webb, is back in. Rolls left, throws left, caught by Hall across midfield, and bumped out of bounds at the 37-yard line. That's going to be good for a first down for the Mustangs.
Eddie Hall making a great case for himself being the MVP of this football game.
So Eddie Hall having himself a big morning and afternoon. With more, here's Tony Parks with a Tosh sideline update.
Hey, thanks so much, Steve. Of course, you see Hall playing some quarterback, but Webb there on that throw. Webb had a freakish injury in a tubing accident where he broke his leg in a number of different places. They weren't sure just how effective he could be when playing the game of football again, but he has been a big spark for them. And then you see Eddie Hall doing what he's doing out of the Wildcat. They started doing this against Logan. They were trailing at the half, and they came out of halftime doing the offense just like this. They had effectiveness doing it, so they came out with it in the second half. They like the fact that they don't have to make an exchange. A lot of what you're talking about, Steve, with some of the struggles that Highland has had, it's one less exchange that's needed to be made.
All on that last carry, picked up 6 yards, second down from the 32-yard line. As the Mustangs are on the march, taking some time off the ticker as well. Luke Smith in motion. All on the keeper, and he powers his way inside the 30, down near the 29-yard line. This part of the game brought to you by Symphony Homes. Go to symphonyhomes.com for more. Symphony Homes, orchestrating your dreams.
Yeah, and as a defender playing these situations as well, understanding now when you have a running back that has the ball, he's not going to be able to make many cuts, so you got to stay in your gaps.
107 yards on the ground for Eddie Hall. He's also completed a couple of passes in this game. to either side. Third down and short, and it's Hall trying to sneak his way to the first down, and he gets wrapped up, bounces away from the hit, and loses even more yardage all the way back to about the 39-yard line. Again, it was Brian Monet who got there first.
Brian Monet's playing a great game for that Highland defense. He's been able to plug the gaps up front for Highland, making it difficult on Mountain Crest offensive linemen. That time you see him get got some penetration from Adam Weber between the centers, creating a little bit of havoc, create a pile there, making it difficult for Eddie Hall to pick up that first down.
Putu Tau with the punt, pushes it down inside the 15. And that's going to take a little roll just inside the 10-yard line. So the Rams will be back with the football when we come back on our Tosh Game of the Week.
Clark Salt Lake Express and the airport shuttle have merged and become one.
So we still have doorstep service, and it's about the same price as it was before. Our focus now is to try to provide as many opportunities for people who need to have the ability to get to and from Salt Lake when they want. They don't want to wait at the airport for 2 hours. They also don't want to be driving around the valley when they get here.
And you bring us to a location that leaves on time.
We'll have another vehicle take you here to save time comfortably, and that main vehicle goes 12 times a day on schedule, both leaving the valley and coming back.
Just under 6.5 minutes remaining here at Rice Eccles Stadium in our first semifinal for the Class 4A on our Tosh Game of the Week. 14-6 Mountain Crest. Still 6:26 remaining, Steve, but this isn't a make or break possession for Highland, but it would do them well to come up with a big play.
Yeah, you either go for the big play, or you count on your offense to sustain the drive that they've been needing all game long.
The junior Jamal Greer now in at quarterback for the Rams, making his second appearance of the day. He'll hand it off, and they'll pick up 4 yards as the fullback, Vili Sakona, makes the carry.
Well, I like that approach. Obviously, the big play, few and far between in this game. Jamal Greer getting the handoff, taking the snap, giving the handoff to his fullback. His fullback's able to pick up 4 yards. And that's so much of what this offense is based on. Picking up the yards, take what the defense gives you, and eventually you will break one of those for a big game.
Here, quick out to the right side, complete to Malcolm Carr. Turner on across the 20 to the 22-yard line. That's going to be good for a Rams first down. Greer on target with that one, and now Malcolm Carr. Turner is down after making that catch and picking up the first down. He's been a big part of this game. He has the only points on the board for Highland with a 95-yard kickoff return for a touchdown late in the first half. So Malcolm Carr, Turner is down. We'll be back with more football from Rice Eccles coming up here on KJZZ. picking up a first down to start this drive, have the ball out at their own 22-yard line, trailing 14-6. The winner advances to face either East or Timpview in next Friday's championship game. East and Timpview coming up here on KJZZ at 2:30. Jamal Greer back, looking towards the left sideline, looking for the out, and the receiver went up. It falls incomplete. It'll be second down and 10.
Jamal Greer, only a junior, coming in and getting some playoff experience in the semifinal game. Done a good job up to this point, been able to get the snap from the center, which Austin Peterson hasn't been able to do, and Jamal Greer now is going to have an opportunity to get his team in a potential chance to tie this football game.
Malcolm Carr-Turner injured on that play prior to the timeout. He has the kickoff return for a touchdown still being worked on the sideline. Weber in motion for Highland. They'll throw it out to the wide man. The pass is complete to Padilla. Padilla slipping through one tackle, finding his way across the 30 and out near the 31-yard line. He's going to be just short of a first down.
Jerry Padilla having a good game for this Highland offense. We saw him earlier catch that slant around line and just taking that screen and gaining yards and creating a third down situation and manageable for your junior quarterback to pick up a first down here.
Man in motion, the give is to the fake the give to the fullback. Greer's going to keep himself around the right side, out across the 35, out near the 40-yard line. They're going to mark him down at the 39, but that's going to be good for another Rams first down. Carr-Turner is struggling after the injury down on the sideline. Tony Parks has a toss sideline update on it.
Well, they had his shoe off. They were taking a look at that ankle, and they diagnosed this as a mild ankle sprain. He said, tape it up. They said, we'll get that done for you and get him back out on the field, guys.
Pembroke in motion. Greer throwing short, intended for him, but the pass is short and incomplete. It'll be second down. Pembroke now, I believe it is, who's a little bit slow to get up after trying to make that diving catch. That's not Pembroke, that's Tennyson George, who is down on the field. So yet another injury to the Highland Rams.
And Tennyson George already has a, looks like he already has a knee brace on there, and it looks like they're checking out that left knee.
Working on Tennyson George. Highland will come to the sideline and talk things over with their head coach, Brody Benson. They've had a nice drive so far. They still have a long ways to go, and we're down to 4:27 remaining in this game. The Rams with just 2 timeouts remaining. Let's see what happened. He kind of went out from under him, sliding on that slippery turf.
Well, it's so difficult in a game like this, and you're definitely susceptible to injuries, twisting the knee and ankle because you can't get your footing.
The way they were working with him, to straighten the legs and all that, it could be just a cramp, and hopefully that's the case for Tennyson George as he gets helped back to the sideline.
The old cold weather cramp.
I never had one, Steve, but I got a feeling it's not any fun.
It's not fun. It's a bad situation to be in. I never had one in the cold weather. I always got one in,
well, those aren't any good either.
San Diego.
Second down now and 10 yards to go for the Rams from their own 39-yard line. Greer back. Rolling away from pressure. Now tucks it over, gets stripped. Gets back to the line of scrimmage, and no more than that. As Troy Netsley was there to make the stop for Mountain Crest.
I'm impressed with Jamal Greer. He's a kid who comes in and getting some first-hand experience at quarterback in the semifinals. He's done a good job. He's not throwing ill-advised passes. He's been able to secure the football, and he's really taking what the defense gives him. Now he's faced with a 3rd and long situation.
He'll roll it out, steps up, throws down the right side. They say no. Incomplete. As the intended receiver was Pembroke that time. Ball just a little bit short. He couldn't scoop it up. Now the Rams with a 4th down.
You see Pembroke, the junior, finding his sophomore receiver, unable to come up with a catch there. Jamal Greer and Thomas Pembroke, both underclassmen in this game, getting some great experience and really becoming the playmakers for this offensive line.